you can picture an athlete who twisted their ankle or something and they're trying to play through it. Like, I was trying to play through it, and yeah, you can do that for a little while, but like it's inevitable that eventually the ankle's going to give way, and that's basically what happened. Is I was really trying to play through it, but it kind of caught up with me, and I just started to be sick more and more often. I felt like I was messed up, and it was being messed up that was driving me to succeed. And I was worried that if I fixed whatever was broken, that I would no longer have this drive and therefore I would not meet my goals. And everybody gave me a refrain that seemed to be cliche, but was actually right. And that is, you got to put your health first. That's what everyone was saying. And I don't know how much, they were just saying what they should say versus really, because I certainly wasn't really thinking hard about it at the time. But I think that first step of putting my health before my job, made it a lot easier to put other things before, family before my job and all of these other things. If I was working, I was always thinking about how much it sucked that I wasn't able to do all these other things, go on a vacation or something like that. But then when I was on vacation, I was feeling guilty about the fact that I wasn't working at that point in time. I mean, and I still struggle with this, but it's one of the best things I've been able to do is recognize that, like, I can tell myself, like, no, I've decided not to work now. And so I'm just not going to think about this until tomorrow. So Sunday nights, every Sunday night still, I have to tell myself, like, no, like, I'm not going to worry about that yet. This is still, my time, family time, whatever it is. And I'll work on that tomorrow.
And just to emphasize that a little bit more, basically the self-talk started as like, make a decision and live in it. And that might have been a random Tuesday afternoon at 3. Hey, I'm not going to work right now because I need to call my family member about something. I'm going to let whatever I was thinking about go and focus on this, this call. That would be one like simple example, that whatever you're doing, whether you're doing something with family, you're doing something with leisure, you're working, just make a decision and live in it.
Right.
And you may have actually practiced that at other times to where now you can say, I made this decision, I'm living in it, even on like a Sunday night.
The practice way of framing things is really good, I think, because a lot of it is kind of like lifting weights or trying to meet some kind of athletic goal or something like that, like working it out, getting reps. All of that is a useful way of thinking about things to me, because it also lets you not be too hard on yourself early on when you're trying out something new.
The other thing that I want to comment on that I think is a really good metaphor is the difference between soreness and injury, where if you grew up thinking that if you were sore after you were running around, and like rather than thinking I feel sore because I had a good workout or I was playing a lot, it shifted to I feel sore, that means I'm weak, then you wouldn't want to go towards that activity. So I think that's how a lot of us learn about emotion. Like if I'm feeling anxious, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling angry, that means I'm weak, rather than it's okay, it's normal, natural, healthy, and adaptive to have all of those feelings, and actually having those feelings, label them for what they are, and practicing working with them effectively might be painful, but it's more analogous to like soreness than it is to injury.
When an emotion enters, the first question shouldn't be like, what's wrong with me? Or just that's not a useful way to frame things necessarily. I mean, it seems quite understandable to me that a person's internal experience feels abnormal to them, since they only have access to their own internal experience, right? So if you get in the habit of thinking that your internal experience is unusual, it's going to be hard you're not going to suddenly stumble one day into someone else's consciousness and see, oh, wow, this person gets anxious too. So there's a bit of a leap of faith there, but it's also pretty reasonable, right? To think that anything I feel, probably people feel that every now and then.